Quaid Azam, Part 113. Despite impressive attempts by several political personalities in both the parties, that spirit of cooperation of the 1920-21 period between Hindus and Muslims could not be revived. Differences cover petty matters, often become issues of violent discord, like playing music before mosques, holding tazia processions, or killing of cows during Eid, and such easily descended into communal violence and killings. There were, for example, serious communal clashes in 1923 in Multan and Amritsar. A communal movement, Tanzim and Tabligh, was thereafter started by the Muslims to organize the community as virile warriors. In reaction, the Hindu Mahasabha too sought to strengthen the Hindu and Sangathan movement was an answer to that, such promoting physical culture. Swami Sharadananda started the Shuddhi purification movement, attempting to bring back within the Hindu fold such as had converted to Islam earlier. Like, for example, the Malkana Rajputs. These developments, the Sangathan and Shuddhi, were predictably denounced by the movement, causing serious rift between the two communities. The Hindu Mahasabha also sought to strengthen the Hindus by admitting the depressed classes to the rights and the privileges of the higher classes. The Muslims suspected that the object of the removal of untouchability was not absorbing these communities into Hindu society but to use them as auxiliaries. This too then added to the list of suspicious activities in the minds of the Muslims. A comparative list of the suspicious activities in the minds of the Muslims, a comparative manifestation of zeal for conversion, of reconversion, was then witnessed amongst both Muslims and Hindus. Witnessing these dangerous trends, Muhammad Ali Johar, in his 1923 presidential address of the League, observed, "My belief is that both sides are working with an eye much more on the next decennial census than on heaven. And I frankly confess that it is on such occasions that I sigh for the days when our forefathers settled things by cutting heads rather than through counting them." There then occurred the major crisis in the Malabar in 1921. From the west coast of the southern India, there began to appear reports of a revolt among the Mopilas. Such unrest had a history. They were not new and were therefore not a surprise either. However, this time it became major rebellion, eventually involving some 50,000 people directly and finally drawing a response from the British Indian military on a scale that was later termed the only internal operations worthy of being dignified with the name of a war since 1857. The government version described this rebellion as the outcome of the Congress Khilafat campaign against the government. The ideology of the Khilafat, so explained by the British Raj, impressed and imparted a religious fervor. In Punjab, where the memories were still fresh of the martial law that had followed the Rowlatt Act, concerns instantly raised that the excess of 1919 could well get repeated in the Malabar. The Bande Mataram, a Lahore newspaper edited by the vulnerable public figure of the Lala Lajpat Rai, was direct and bitter in its condemnation. Lalaji termed the Khilafat movement being responsible for the kind of reasoning the Raj as an imaginary cause, asserting instead with the reason that if these disturbances are due to Khilafat agitators or Khalifa resolution, they ought to have first of all taken place in Karachi or Sindh. Such newspapers as wished to sustain their stance against the government and in favor of Hindu-Muslim unity despite being confronted now daily by the accounts of new atrocities against Hindus pouring in from the south, found it immensely difficult to maintain their position. The consequences of the Malabar riots travelled north fast and seriously damaged interreligious relations here too. In the face of these communal cross,